It's pretty safe to say that the New York Jets season has not at all gone the way that their fans would have wanted it to go. And as a result, a lot of Jet fans are feeling a little bit caught in the middle, wanting them to win games, but at the same time, how great can the Jets really be if they don't get their quarterback? So what we're really going to talk about tonight is some of the surprise. I want to look at the season as it is right now and figure out what's really gone right, what's really gone wrong, and kind of break that down. So we're going to get into that. We got 3 and Out. We got Jets Trivia coming up. Guys, you know what's up. It's Wednesday night. It's 6 p.m. and we are live. Well, welcome everybody back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watts2K99. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch these videos and joining me for our weekly Wednesday Night Live extravaganza. First of all, again, my apologies for not recording last Wednesday. There were tech issues. There were life issues. There are still life issues, to say the least. But with everything going on, managed to pull myself together, do the show tonight. Hopefully we will not be missing any more shows for a while. Still got to figure some things out, but we are up and running. So first and foremost, I thank everybody for being patient. Definitely means a lot. So first of all, couple of quick hellos to some folks popping in the chat. We got the original Pa2K99. He is here representing from the sometimes great state of New Jersey, sometimes the very messed up state of New Jersey. I hope you are well, hope you are healthy, hope you are happy tonight. The great Grandizer is here, and he loves him some Fins, so we're going to talk a little Jets Fins in a little bit. Baba Booey to you as well, my friend. By the way, we are actually in a historical site right now. Where I am recording is the original site of the Wicker Chair. That's right, the very spot in the town of Cary, North Carolina. This is where years ago on Mother's Day, the original Wicker Chair show was recorded alongside Nick Shine, Buffalo Jets fan, Tigo, all the guys that you know and love, and in my case tolerate. So this is the original spot. So it feels pretty good being over here. I didn't record last week. I should be punished. Hope all gets worked out. You're in a better spot. It's a day-by-day thing. This is not a thing that goes away quickly. I will just say that. Just to sum it up, medical issues, life issues, vehicle issues in my family. We will leave it, and we're going to leave it there. I don't really want to put everything out there on YouTube or on social media because I've learned there are some very sick people out there. So I'm going to be a little bit more selective about things I post going forward. That's just the way that I got to do it for right now. Got to protect myself and protect those around me. That's pretty much what it is. You love the NHL content. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But life happens. You're a working classman. Yeah. All right. Well, keep that in mind. Definitely do a little bit more hockey stuff. Got to keep that in mind. Yeah. I want to, hey, if it's something you're interested in, yeah, I'll certainly talk about it. But last Wednesday, I did take a day retreat to Charlotte, which I was already planning on doing. That had been on my schedule for weeks in advance. And I did get to go to Knicks Hornets, and we're going to talk about that. You know what? We're going to get into that right now. Let's talk about what's on my mind, and we'll just sort of transition as we do 3 and Out. Let's talk a little bit of New York Knicks. So last night, they come off a disappointing loss to, let's be honest, the mediocre Boston team at TD Garden. Their 4-game winning streak did get snapped. That game, it doesn't bother me too much. It was a personal game to the Celtics after last year's playoffs when the Knicks ousted them. Jalen Brunson wasn't on his game. Mitchell Robinson was invisible. Of course, they still don't have OG Anunoby. Look, turn the page. They get to do so quickly. Tonight they host the woebegone Charlotte Hornets, 7:30 tip-off. And that's a team the Knicks wasted by 28 points on Thanksgiving Day in the Queen City. And I did put a couple of pictures up there on my page, so check those out if you would like to. But I had a really good time. I sat in about the 5th row of the upper deck, center court, right about where I like to be for a basketball game. And I even got to sneak down for warm-ups for about 10 minutes before the one security guard decided to kick me out. But I did get to hang down there for a little bit, take a few pictures, and I did have fun. But God knows, I want to get a better camera soon. The cell phone just doesn't do it unless you're 6 feet away from your target. But yeah, Charlotte was it was a fun place to go. I was there on the train. There were enough people where nobody got murdered, which was very reassuring. We all got through the train situation pretty well. But yeah, it's a good trip it's a good day trip. It's not a place you're going to spend a ton of time though. Yeah, good thoughts. All of that is very much appreciated. Yeah, it's we all go through our tough times. We all go through those, and the last 2 weeks have absolutely been mine. Some things have worked out, some things have been settled, but the big thing has not been worked out. And when everything does come to a better place, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about it. And there we go. So, Grandizer, I love that you joined the Green Bean Jets fan in that game 2 weeks ago at halftime. He gives shout outs. Happy about that. I mod for his channel. Grandizer, you're just an all-around mod. Non-stop modding by Grandizer 12. Yeah, it was good to be on with the guys again. It was good to be on there with Matt and Dom for a couple of seconds. Well, yeah, I was there. Gunny was there too, but he was sort of taking the back seat role, I guess, because Matt and I were sort of guesting. Yeah, Gunny's a heck of a guy too, and yeah, it felt like old times. It was a good feeling for sure. It was good to be on with them. All right, so then we go to hockey. It was a good Tuesday night for New York. Teams both beat top caliber teams in the NHL. The Islanders beat the Lightning 2-1, and the Lightning have won 7 or 8 games in a row coming into that. Rangers beat Dallas in overtime at the Garden. Vladislav Gavrikov with the game winner after Will Cooley scores the game-tying goal with 2 minutes and change left. A very, very good win after losing Adam Fox for the next several weeks with a shoulder injury. With Fox out, you know what? Guys like Braden Schneider, Scott Morrow, they're going to have to step up on that defense now. The power play did not look good. 5 forwards, it did not work. You got to wonder, does Mike Sullivan switch this up before the next game Thursday against Ottawa? Sullivan apparently pretty upset in practice, was kind of barking up the team a little bit about doing certain things differently. But the power play is a thing that definitely needs to be watched. As for the Devils, they host those same Dallas Stars tonight. The Eastern Conference, guys, it's insane right now. Think about this. 16 teams in the Eastern Conference. Not one team has more regulation losses than total wins. Think about that. If you leave out the overtime losses, just look at wins and regulation losses. There are 2 teams at 500, Buffalo and Florida. Everybody else is over 500. From the top team to the bottom team, if you look at points, it's just a 9-point gap. There it is. You could call it parity. You could call it mediocrity. You could call it competitiveness like Gary Bettman would do. But every team in the Eastern Conference has a chance to make the playoffs and do something. As for the New York Giants, a 33-15 drubbing at the hands of the New England Patriots. Boy, how sick does it make you to watch the Patriots win game after game after game after game? I guess when the devil's in your corner, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I even tried watching the Manning cast, which I hadn't really done much of before. 5 minutes into the game, you knew it was over, and on to Monday Night Raw I went. Now the Giants have their bye week. And you look at the 4 remaining games: Washington, Minnesota, at Vegas, home against Dallas. Maybe they win 1 game, 2 at the most. I mean, they could beat the Raiders. Maybe they steal 1 other game. But I got to spend a minute here and talk about Abdul Carter. Benched for the first quarter due to being late for another meeting. That is one thing you can control. You can be on time to a meeting. But do I wish Tom Coughlin was the Giants coach right now? Imagine those arguments. Oh, boy, put that on Hard Knocks. Now, I'm not going to call Carter a bust yet. He has a lot of talent. I believe in giving every rookie 1 year, unless, they're breaking the law, doing something like that. But Carter has been a stubborn, immature fool, being a wise ass with the media, a wise ass on social media. He needs to realize this year is a failure for him and his team. And there is no way around it. I didn't think the Giants were going to be making the playoffs, but I never thought they'd win only 2 games. Crazy that has been as disappointing for them as it has been. We got the great Indy Jets, what's up? How you doing, man? I hope you got my email again. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to Charlotte, but that was right in the midst of everything getting insane. I didn't even have a reliable vehicle at the time. So I was worried driving 5 minutes, let alone 2.5 hours to Charlotte. So we will definitely work it out. If not this year, next year, I will definitely make the trip down to Dilworth's in Charlotte to watch a game with the Charlotte crowd. So yeah. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Appreciate it. I see we got a few other people hanging out there in the chat. Hey, feel free to stop it. Feel free to leave a comment. You got any questions, any thoughts in mind? Feel free to, let your thoughts be known. But most of all, hit that thumbs up button. Help spread the word about the channel. And I definitely appreciate it. Did you get it fixed? I wound up getting a new vehicle on the Friday, as a matter of fact. I think that car was enough far gone where it would have been too much to fix it. It wasn't worth fixing. And so now I do have a certified used vehicle. I had enough in savings where I was able to get that taken care of. Hour and a half of searching, found something that I liked. 4 hours later, I was driving off the lot. So that was the big problem that we got solved. Let's put it that way. So I have a better vehicle now. And where the paint is not peeling, where there are not electrical issues, where the freaking car doesn't die on me in the middle of the road while I'm making a turn. That happened 4 times in 5 days. I was worried. So the lesson of this, I'm never driving a Hyundai again unless it's a rental. But I will never, ever own a Hyundai. I've got a Subaru Crosstrek, white Subaru Crosstrek. So it's a mini SUV, black trim, a little bit of orange, black interior, some orange trim. By the way, I got to say this. If you don't have a car with adaptive cruise control, it is about the coolest feature I've ever seen. Because usually this is what you're doing. Automotive tips with Walks UK 99. That's what we're doing right now. But I got to let you know. So typically with cruise control, you set it and forget it. You set it, then you increase it 1 mile an hour, 2 miles an hour, decrease it 1, 2, and then you have to hit the brakes if you're stopping. With adaptive cruise control, you actually set a certain number of car lanes between you and the next car. So let's say you're driving 70 on the highway. You're driving 70 on the highway. And then there's a car in front of you that's going slower. The car will automatically slow down to keep that number of car lanes, 1, 2, 3, or 4, between you and the car in front of you. But it remembers that's 70 miles an hour. So then you switch over. You move over to the left lane, and then it's going to automatically resume that 70 miles an hour again. So the adaptive cruise control is great. Yep, I have heated seats. I did make sure to keep those. Seat coolers are even better. That does sound pretty good. When Adam drives a car up a lot, the price increases in value. Hey, I've been good for 5 years. Nothing has happened with me in a car in the last 5 years. So we're doing well. We're doing well. Lost a few things. I lost the moonroof, which is not a major loss. I miss having the sunglass case right there in the overhead. I don't have that anymore. The biggest thing that I miss is blind spot detection. When you make when you're switching lanes and there's a car there and you hear the beep, beep, beep. I don't have that anymore. So I have to rely on the mirrors that much more. And I'm a little surprised that that's not just a standard feature in most cars. The car I had was a 2017. This is a 2022. So the fact that that is not standard, like a rear view camera or something like that, I definitely have the rear view camera. But yeah, I just think that should be required on any decent car, we'll call it, because it just really helps enforce safety. So yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on with the car situation. The other stuff I'll get into when the time is appropriate. That day is not now. All right, everybody. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and I'm just gonna switch this up a little bit. There we go. All right, everybody. It's another win. We've won 3 of 5 games. Had the New York Jets. Everybody, I feel like doing a chant right now. So everybody, say it loud. Say it proud. Let me hear it. Jets, 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 Jets. Hope that came through okay. I'm on a little different computer, and through my speakers, it sounded like crap. Oh, my gosh. So hopefully the sound effects came through also. Indy, your truck has 8 cameras. You only got 2 eyes. What are we talking about here? All right. Well, hey, guys, it is a day to celebrate, in my mind, being a New York Jets fan, a week to celebrate. And why are we celebrating? Because the New York Jets have made it to the month of December without being eliminated from playoff contention. Who would have believed it would ever happen? We're used to being done by Columbus Day. We made it to December 3rd. Oh, baby. Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me see. This now has me wondering. December 6th. We'll be in for a little bit here. What is the special day? St. Nicholas Day. Ah, yes. Where Santa Claus leaves presents in children's shoes internationally. So Nicholas Day. The Jets have survived to Nicholas Day. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. It's miserable. 8 and 9 coming. Oh, I feel the optimism, brother. Yeah, Indy is expecting a hot streak. Yeah, December 6th, because December 7th is when we might be eliminated if we lose. So I'm going to celebrate all the way to December 6th, non-elimination day for the Jets. That's what I'm going to do. All right, but in all seriousness, let's recap a little bit what was going on here. This picture just makes me laugh. I don't know why. But anyway, just a brief recap of the game, Jets versus Falcons. You know, I got to be honest, Tyrod Taylor, it runs in the family. I'm aware of this, but I am honest about it. Tyrod Taylor running in for a touchdown, that didn't exactly warm my heart just because I know he's not the future. It's like, okay, cool, we're winning, but I'm not going to get overly excited when Tyrod Taylor is running for a first down or running for a touchdown. I am very happy for A.D. Mitchell scoring his first official touchdown. On the offensive line, Joe Tippmann, my gosh, this guy looks better by the week. By the week, my thought is this. I think the Jets should keep him at guard next year. Keep either John Simpson or Elijah Vera Tucker at left guard. Keep one of the two. If AVT will come back on a proven deal, I would keep him. If not, then I would turn my attention to Simpson. And then you look to sign Tyler Linderbaum from Baltimore at center. And if they can't get him, maybe use a high pick on a center. Maybe use your late first or a second-round pick on a center. Whoever might be out there, we have plenty of time to break down center prospects over time. But I'm telling you, I feel really good about leaving Tippmann at guard. He is not letting up a lot of pressures, and his run block win rate at guard is fantastic. So that's what I'm thinking about for the offensive line. As far as the defense goes, I'd love to see A.Z. Thomas stepping up at cornerback. You know, there are people who are saying the Jets need to get a cornerback, all of that. I don't want to say that just yet. If you want to draft another one to develop them in the middle rounds like you did with Thomas, great. But Brandon Stevens and A.Z. Thomas could be your starters for the next 2 years. Throw in Jarvis Brownlee, that might be your slot cornerback. But the open field tackle that Thomas had right at the beginning of the game on that first drive by Atlanta to force a fourth down, absolutely outstanding. Jamin Sherwood, he keeps getting better after a very rough start. Brandon Stevens, same thing. Juwan Briggs, what a steal that was in that trade from Cleveland. Man, we thought he was a run stopper, but he's showing some glimpses of rushing the passer. And Harrison Phillips, he gives the leadership at defensive tackle. The biggest concern I have with the defense is there just isn't the depth at edge rusher that you're looking for. JJ is fine. Will is fine at what they do, but you really need another defensive end. You know, Michael Clemens is looking a little bit better when he plays inside, but if you get him out in space, you may as well be putting an orangutan on roller skates. It just isn't working, okay? But definitely those additions at defensive tackle to replace Byron Coward, Derek Nottie, and I hate to say it, Leonard Taylor also. It has worked out very, very well, and I do have some optimism for Darren Muji. I can't say I'm all in on him. You know, Joe Douglas made a lot of good trades. Joe Douglas had a lot of great free agent signings. But the difference Darren Muji can make, opposed from all his predecessors, is to get the quarterback. And we don't know if he's going to be able to do that this offseason or if he's going to have to wait till 2027. But he's going to hitch his wagon to a quarterback. Who's that quarterback going to be? Because we know it's not going to be Justin Fields. December 7th, let's not forget the day that will live in infamy. Absolutely. 1941, it will be 84 years. I've never been to Pearl Harbor. I've never even been to Hawaii, but one day, hopefully that will happen. AVT is gone next year then, huh? Hey, Simply Awesome. I would say this. I don't think he's gone at all. I think he will give the Jets a chance to sign him. But here's the thing. How many teams are really going to offer him multiple years? You know, I would love to keep AVT. I've been a huge fan of his from the beginning. It's been just fluky injuries that have messed with him. So if he's willing to take a 1 to 2 year proven deal, then I think that is going to be well worth it. And I put him in at left guard. That's where he played the bulk of his time at USC, and that's where I think I would like to put him. Adam, you cited Joe Timmon as one Jets player that's developed nicely. Do you have a quick list of other Jets players in that realm? Brandon Stevens, 100%. That's the first one that comes to mind. I think Malachi Moore is getting better with a natural rookie curve. Jarvis Brownlee has been a better player here than he was in Tennessee. I don't know about the linebackers. Maybe I'm thinking about linebackers, but I can't quite go there. I think the linebackers we have, especially Quincy Williams, were more suited for the Saleh and Ulbrich defense. The defensive line is the tough one. I wish I had somebody on the defensive line I could point right to, but the thing with the Jets is they've really turned over that whole defensive tackle room. Like I said earlier, adding Briggs, adding Phillips, adding Mozzie Smith, now adding Kalen Saunders, and losing Quinn Williams, Derek Nottie, Byron Cowart, Leonard Taylor. The defensive tackle room is Solomon Thomas, Javon Kinlaw. That defensive tackle is completely different. I would say on offense, yeah, Timmons definitely one. Olaf Fashanu, I think, has gotten much better. And I think with Keith Carter being gone and you add Steve Heiden as your offensive line coach, that right there represents an upgrade. So I would definitely throw him, Olu in. Isaiah Davis a little bit better, I would say. Wide receiver has changed pretty drastically, so it's hard to talk about wide receiver. But those are some names I would put in as well. All right. Yep, we're going to get to take a thought for sure, Grandizer. Yep, you know that's a weekly feature. Harlan, you could get a quarterback this season on day 3. So you're thinking maybe a mid-round projection thing. The problem that I've got is you can bring somebody in, but you better not have huge expectations. Because from what I hear, after your first 3, after Mendoza, Simpson, and Moore, after that, there's quite a fall-off. This is not a deep quarterback class. So if you want to draft one, with one of those extra picks, just see what they have. That's fine. You know, like a James Morgan type guy. See if there's anything there, but if it doesn't work out, no harm, no foul. But don't count on getting your starter late in this draft is what I'm saying. Because, again, we got a running backs coach as our quarterbacks coach. How much confidence do we really have there? Indy was a huge Mozzie fan, but not sure what's wrong with him. It's a mystery. It really is. I'll tell you this. For all we could say about how bad the Jets coaching staff was, Aaron Wycott was a very good coach, the defensive line coach. I think we can pretty much agree on that. And it didn't work with him and Mozzie this year. So what are the odds that it's going to keep working? Something to keep in mind. If it didn't work with Wycott, where will it work? So maybe it takes an off season to use him in a certain way. But again, Smith, it was a lottery ticket. Exactly. Oh, we've got Jets worldwide. How you doing, Snowball? Hope you're having a great. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you're having a great week. A real quarterback coach. I'm in favor of it. Yeah. Potsu K99. Is it Kali Ekmanis from Rutgers? I know you live in downtown New Brunswick. I understand that, but. Yeah, I don't know how many great Rutgers quarterbacks are. Probably the only great Rutgers quarterback there's ever been was Ray Lucas, and that's pushing it. Yeah, there won't be expectations. New England didn't have expectations for Brady, right? And then they surrounded him with a great offensive line, great coaching, and great everything, and it works out. I'm just saying, you can't be a great quarterback without a very good supporting cast. And I'm gonna go back to this argument again. Lamar Jackson, if he had been anywhere other than Baltimore, would it have really worked out the way that it has? Can you imagine if the Jets had drafted Lamar Jackson, how that would have worked? With little offensive line, a coaching staff that had no idea what the hell to do with him? He would be Jameis Winston right now, I dare say. All right, and a couple things with special teams that I want to say. Kenny Nwangwu, I'm a Kenny guy. He didn't even get a chance to return kicks anymore. They are kicking to Isaiah Williams as often as they can as the opponent. And he had another huge return, this one for 82 yards. Austin McNamara, AMAC, continues to deliver punts inside the 20-yard line and short of the end zone. Nick Folk, the game-winning kick, made the 56-yard field goal after missing the 55-yarder earlier in the game, as we know, his first miss of the season. And good for Nick Folk. He gets a $125,000 bonus for meeting certain incentives. So I'm thrilled for him. And I got to be honest with you, I didn't even know that Aaron Glenn and Nick Folk were teammates with the Cowboys way back when. Now Potsu K99 is going to be happy because I mentioned the Dallas Cowboys here on the show. So, yeah, Pavi is interesting. The one from Vanderbilt, he's pretty intriguing. He's pretty intriguing. Yeah, I think his brother just got arrested for making too much of a scene at a game, though. So I guess that makes him like Patrick Mahomes. He's got sort of a brother who doesn't know when to calm down. So hey, you could say that he's probably is a little bit like Mahomes. So all right, let's get into snap counts. With everything going on, confession didn't track last week. So let's just look at this week for against the Falcons. 66 snaps on offense. Tyrod Taylor played all 66. Breece Hall played 58. Isaiah Davis played 8. And Andrew Beck played 8. You know, the Jets are using Andrew Beck, I think, a little bit more than they had early in the season, and I like that. Beck, to me, is one of your best run blockers. It helps. He's also a really good blocker on special teams. He's a little bit to me like Nick Barden was. You know, a lot of us were Nick Barden fans from a couple years ago. I know that's a name we haven't thought about too much lately. But Andrew Beck is sort of filling in that role, that run blocker, that special teams blocker. He fits in well there. Wide receiver John Mechie played 64 snaps, missed only 2. A.D. Mitchell, 57. Isaiah Williams, 26. Allen Lazard, 19. And his one target was just an absolutely ridiculous catch. When Taylor's pass gets deflected and the ball is just sort of floating up in the air, and Allen Lazard, of all people, goes up to get it, pulls it down. I'm like, the Jets are winning this game. You got too much going for you if Allen Lazard is making that play. Tyler Johnson, only 1 snap, and he had really been a starting wide receiver for a while. Only 1 snap at this point. And Arian Smith does not play in this game. Gosh. All right, Indy, fine. Stone, not Stone. This is a bit, yeah. You happy now? There it is, Stone. All right. Mason Taylor, 55 snaps. Jeremy Rucker, 28 snaps. Stone, who is Stone's distant cousin, who the Jets signed for just the 1 game, had 2 snaps. See how it works. On the offensive line, again, it was all business. This keyboard did not work the way that I wanted it to. Everybody played 66 snaps, and Max Mitchell got on the field as the 4th offensive lineman, played 4 snaps. Defense, JJ played 50 of 69 snaps, despite being a little bit hobbled at the end of the game. Will McDonald, 49 snaps. That's much more like it. Michael Clemens, 36. Eric Watts, 16. Braden McGregor did not play in this game. Defensive tackle, Juwan Briggs, 45. Harrison Phillips, 42. Jay Tefele, 24. He had a sack, I believe, in the game. A big stop there. Kalen Saunders recently signed from the Saints, 18 snaps. Mozzie Smith did not play, nor do I expect him to play anytime soon. The Jets played 6 linebackers. Jamian Sherwood played the whole game. Quincy Williams played 68 snaps. Marcelino McCrary Ball, you know the fish, right? Yeah, the one who went fishing on the ground after he had that sack, 29 snaps. Of course, he got an unsportsmanlike penalty for that. And this is a special teams captain, mind you. Kiko Malagoa, 16 snaps. See, that's the kind of day it's been, guys. I'm sorry. He had 16 snaps, and Michael Walker had 1. All right. Brandon, at least when I make a mistake, I'm honest about it, and I can recognize it. All right. You know what? I'm not perfect, and the Jets aren't perfect either. Brandon Stevens, 68 snaps. A.Z. Thomas, 68. Isaiah Oliver, 41. Jasir Taylor, 30. I'll give everybody a moment to go Wikipedia who he is. Came over at the trade deadline. Jarvis Brownlee did not play with a hip injury, and Quantez Stiggers did not play defense. He was just used on specials. And Malachi Moore played 68 snaps. Tony Adams played 29. And really, Isaiah Oliver played the remaining, played 41 snaps at safety as well. So Isaiah Oliver was basically used to sub Tony Adams. That's kind of what happened there. All right. So I know you're missing Indiana. I hear of the Grandizer with a question. I often hear of the frustration from Jet fans. If Tyrod Taylor would have started the season, the Jets would be at 500 or above 500, maybe in a position to get the last wild card. Well, we'll never know. We'll never know. I can say this. How many games did Justin Fields really help win for the Jets? He played very well against the Steelers, right? In that game that they lost. It was a fun game, but ultimately it was a heartbreaker. And then I believe if I go back to the regular season here, let's see here, the Cincy and Cleveland victories, he did, because as I remember, he didn't play well against Cleveland. But I think against Cincinnati, what were his numbers in Cincinnati? I'm going to double check those numbers here real quick. I know he threw for 244. I remember that. And I'm just going to pull the box score up real quick. Yeah, what Fields went 21 for 32, 244, 1 touchdown. Of course, no interceptions. 99 rating and ran 11 times for 31 yards. He had a good performance. But I can't really think of a game where the Jets won and he definitively would have been the better quarterback. And the problem is the lows were so low. You know, maybe they would have 5 wins. But here's the thing. If you play – here's the other thing we have to remember. Tyrod Taylor has a history of getting injured. If Tyrod Taylor is playing from the beginning, do we really have confidence he would have made it 12 games without getting hurt? Because I really don't. That's how I feel. And it wouldn't surprise me if Taylor gets hurt at some point again this year and we see Fields. And if that happens the next week, at that point I'm playing Brady Cook. Oh, we've got Harlan Abraham. Yep, I see Pavia could be another Tarkington. I got you here. Yeah, Fred Tarkington was actually on with Boomer and Gio yesterday on WFAM. And he's 86 years old. And it was an entertaining listen for about 25 minutes. It was really fun to hear Tarkington's perspective on quarterbacks and how to succeed in the NFL and his career. Yeah, it was a really good perspective. It was good. I actually only knew Fred Tarkenton at first from Tony Robbins infomercials in the early 90s. That's how I first knew of him. So Harlan believes that the Jets record would be the same. It's very possible. Father Abraham and his many sons, the many sons of Father Abraham are here. All right, awesome. I really think, Indy says, Fields has something mental going on. He needs to go on IR for mental evaluation. I don't know if that's a thing in the NFL for just a mental break. And this way, but call it an upper body injury like they do in the NHL. Just do that. And I buy it, you know. But the fact that Fields is really not willing to run the Wildcat, he has questions about that. You know what? For all the character that he has, his teammates supposedly like him. You know what? That's how he'd be getting on the field because his legs are the best weapon that he has. You know, making throws on the run. That actually might be an offense that suits Justin Fields. Because when he's got to sit back in the pocket, humming, this way, he never makes a decision. Indecisive Justin. That is what he is. Frustrating as hell. Indy says to Harlan, with Rodgers and Adams last year, we're 3-9 same point going into Miami. If only we had Nick Folk. If we had Nick Folk, we might have been a playoff team. Just saying. Could have happened. But who knew Greg Zuerlein would fall off the way he did? I certainly did. All right, guys, let's take a look at Tankathon right now and see how we're doing. Just end the season, 5 games left to go. All right, so I got this divided by 1, 2, and 3 wins. Tennessee well ahead of the pack, 1-11. And, of course, look at that strength of schedule because the easier your strength of schedule, you get the tiebreaker in the first round. If you finish tied, easiest strength of schedule has the first pick in the first round, but then you reverse it in the second round. So, for instance, the first round, the first 4 picks would be Tennessee, the Giants, the Saints, and the Raiders. In the second round, it would go Tennessee, Raiders, Saints, Giants. So that's important to keep in mind. So now the Jets have dropped to 7th overall. Cleveland, Washington in front of them by a decent margin. Arizona a little bit behind. And then you've got 3 teams at 4-8 in Atlanta. Their pick goes to the Rams. You got Cincinnati, who has Joe Burrow back. I think they're going to win a few more games. And Minnesota, who tragically will be playing J.J. McCarthy again. Oh, my gosh. The fact that Joe Douglas was able to get an extra draft pick to move down 1 spot so Minnesota could draft J.J. McCarthy. That may be the steal of all time. I don't even care what the Jets got back. Just the fact that Minnesota moved up to draft J.J. McCarthy. It's not Christian Hackenberg, but right now it's not that far off. I'm just saying. Man, Minnesota's going to be in the market for a quarterback too, I believe, because JJ looks just clueless. All right, swig of water for the working man and woman. All right. So I'm going to show you something else as well here. We're gonna do the FPI, and I'm going to compare it to 2 weeks ago, but then I got something else for you with this. So the average draft position right now, ESPN projecting the draft order by simulating the remainder of the season 10,000 times. 2 weeks ago, we were at 4.6. So we're going to pick between 4 or 5, depending. Now it's between 6 and 7. Chance to earn the number 1 pick has dropped from 11.6 down to 2. And just about a month ago, we were in the 30s, 30% chance to have the number 1 pick. Now it's down to 2%, very, very unlikely. Or as the great Gorilla Monsoon would say, highly unlikely. By the way, quick plug, if you're an old school wrestling fan, there is a new book out about Gorilla Monsoon called Irresistible Force. I'm currently reading that book right now. It's about 400, 500 pages. Very good book if you're a fan of old school wrestling. I'm just going to put it right there just to give it a little bit of love because, WWE is not going to promote it on, on their channel or anything like that on their shows. So I want to give it a little bit of respect there. Irresistible Force. Here it is, the Irresistible Force meeting the immovable object. Famous call at WrestleMania 3. All right, anyway, that was a quick aside. Now, chance to earn a top 5 pick, that has dropped quite significantly from 68% to about 39% chance. And then chance to earn a top 10 pick, well, they still have us in the top 10. 96% down to about 93%. So that is the odds we're looking at. Now, as far as the teams in front of us, here's what we're looking at. If you look at the first overall pick, right now Tennessee has a nearly 50% chance to grab that at 47%. The Raiders at 20%, the Saints at 18%, Cleveland at 6.5%, the Giants at 5.5%, the Jets right around 2% right now. So it is very, very unlikely that is going to happen. I did see about the men's summer old book. Yeah, I think I might wait on paperback for that, or maybe I can get it at the library now. But I would be very interested in reading that. Then draft position. So right now, the expected draft position. Tennessee, the average right now is 2.2. Raiders 3.3. Saints 3.7. Browns 4.7. Giants 5.1. And Jets, as we just talked about, 6.4. So again, if we go back to those standings right now, the fact that the Jets, with their remaining games, they got the Dolphins, the Jaguars, the Saints, the Patriots, and the Bills. So you've got some pretty good teams there. You have, you got at least 3 teams that are going to have a winning record. So that strength of schedule is going to continue to go up, and that is not going to be good for tiebreakers. Now, with the Cardinals, I don't think their strength of schedule is going to get past the Jets. When you're in a division with the Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks, you're in pretty good shape. So that's one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that each win is going to move them down further because it's going to be difficult for them to win a lot of tiebreakers. So this is where you got to hope the Saints win a game, or you hope the Raiders win a game, and that Jets-Saints game in a couple of weeks down in Bayou Country is going to be pivotal for that. Okay, so then we're going to keep on going, and we'll go to the draft power rankings. I'll show you those real too. The Jets, now that Indianapolis is losing a few games, their projected draft position is getting better and better in the draft. And that's why the Jets currently are projected to have the most valuable overall draft. They're at 1,228 points ahead of Cleveland. This uses the updated draft pick chart, where each draft pick has a certain point value assigned to it. And even though the Jets are dropping, Indianapolis is coming up. All right, so that's why the Jets have moved back into number 1. And then a good deal behind them, you've got Vegas, you've got Pittsburgh, you've got Tennessee right behind them. Then you drop a little bit to the Saints, to Houston, and you got some other teams in there as well. But yeah, the Jets will have either the most or second most valuable draft. I don't think there's any question about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove that. Jets may be drifting closer to 10. Harlan, it's very possible. I can see the Jets winning 2 more games. I don't think that is too much of an exaggeration. Jacksonville will be interesting. You never know. Jacksonville's in a big division race, and boy, they got a huge game this week against the Colts. There are so many good games this week. Seriously, this is a game, if I had Red Zone, I would be all over Red Zone. I mean, think about it. My 2 favorite rivalries in the sport are this week. Steelers-Ravens, Bears-Packers. All right, and I'm leaving the Jets out of that. That's separate. Steelers, Ravens, Bears, Packers are my 2 favorites. And then you get Colts, Jaguars. How good is that going to be? Chiefs, Texans, national TV. That's going to be awesome. Lions, Cowboys. Let's go. Let's go. And it's only appropriate those teams are playing the Thursday after Thanksgiving. So they both get 1 week breaks. All right. So let's get into a little bit of news here, a little bit of Jets news. All right. So the Jets have signed Samuel Womack. Yes. Who is Samuel Womack? Well, former Titans cornerback. The Jets are just poaching the Titans roster at this point. Jarvis Brownlee, now Samuel Womack. And in order to do that, they signed him to the practice squad. They did cut wide receiver Brandon Smith. Again, not a big deal. He's 27 years old. I know he's very good in the preseason, but this is a regular season. They also waived Byron Cowart, defensive tackle from injured reserve. A little bit of a surprise. He was really supposed to be a starter alongside Quinnen Williams, and they've carried him on injured reserve for several months, only to release him now. Maybe it's just a settlement so we can look for a new team. Let's go on to our old buddy, Sauce Gardner. Oh, yes. Sauce Gardner did avoid a major injury. The Colts have confirmed he's dealing with a calf injury. The Achilles is intact. That is good. He will not go on IR. He is expected to be back before the end of the season, but he is week to week. And notable for a couple of reasons. I wish him well. I wish a speedy recovery for him. But this is a team that needed a cornerback, and they gave up a lot to get him. And every single loss Indy gets is the Jets game. The Colts travel down to North Florida to face the Jaguars, who are 8-4. Then they go to Seattle to face the 9-3 Seahawks. Then they host the 9-4 San Francisco 49ers. After this, they could wind up 8-7 by Christmas. Oh, and they finished their season by hosting Jacksonville and visiting Houston with that devastating defense. And and another thing, their quarterback is playing with a slight break in his fibula. So hey, here's the hoping that the Colts finish like 8-8, 8-9, 9-8, something like that. It is very possible, very, very possible. Hey, Billy SBC, how you doing? Regardless of where we pick, are we going to F it up? That is the question. It's not a science, But I will say this: if this year is any indication, I would feel encouraged. And we're going to get into all of that in just a few moments. So let's get into the sort of the main top. Well, we'll talk about injuries here real quick. Garrett Wilson. So he had a hyperextension of the knee. Then it became a sprain to the same knee. He is eligible to return from injured reserve after the Miami game. Personally, I don't see the benefit of playing him at this point, but we'll see what happens. The only players out for this week's game against Miami are Marcelino McCurry-Ball. Maybe he got hurt doing the little fish jiggle on the ground. And Jarvis Brownlee is out with a hip injury. A couple players did not practice. So Quantez Stiggers, Harrison Phillips, Jermaine Johnson, Tony Adams. But Aaron Glenn expects them all to play. All right. Positive, negative surprises. So this is sort of the main content for tonight. And by the way, just one thing, I'm having some issues with the wheel on this computer. So hit that thumbs up. I'll keep it in mind if we get the 15 likes. I can't do the wheel tonight. I may have to actually reconstruct the whole freaking thing. But I'm going to work with Google to try to get that done. I'm just having an issue with my account. So it is definitely frustrating, but I will be looking at that because that is something that I got to get fixed. And if I got to spend some time redoing it, then I'm going to spend some time remaking every wheel. That is pretty much the way it goes. But, of course, we will be doing trivia in a little bit. He did do it on the MetLife Stadium turf. I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe if you jiggle on the ground on the MetLife turf, that's what gets you injured. It's very possible. All right, so positive surprises. So I'm going to give you a positive and then a negative. We're going to kind of go back and forth, just kind of like what the Jets tend to do with our mindsets, right? With our emotions and with our heart rates. So one positive, the Jets are winning without some of their best players. It's funny that Garrett Wilson has not played in any of the Jets' 3 wins this season. Pretty crazy, right? They traded Sauce. They traded Quinnen on November 4th when their record was 1-7. By the way, Sauce was injured. He didn't play in that win either. And the Jets have now played 7 straight games that were within 1 score in the fourth quarter. And everything that I keep going to is if there is an elite quarterback, if you have Andrew Luck there at the top of the board, I understand the tank. But when the quarterback class has this many questions, I just can't be in the mindset of wanting to lose and lose and lose. This is a team that needs wins. This is a young team. This is a young coaching staff. They have to learn to win games. They've got to learn to win these close games. I don't care how ugly it is. You find ways to win. It builds your confidence that somehow you will find a way to win that next game that's close. And then you start to do it with a little more style. Maybe you make it a little bit prettier. So for me, every win is a win. I don't believe in style points, guys. But a negative has been Justin Fields' performance, and I didn't expect it to be this negative. He's completed less than 63% of his passes, 1,259 yards, 7 touchdowns to 1 interception. Looks pretty good on the surface, but he's been sacked 27 times. His passer rating is 89.5, and it's frustrating because we were so encouraged by week 1. The bottom line is this: he still has the physical tools. It's like he has all the pieces to the jigsaw puzzle, but mentally he does not put the puzzle pieces together. And it's hard to explain why, but it just takes him long to process, and then he doesn't seem to have the confidence to throw the football. And if you don't have confidence to play quarterback, you got nothing. You can have the best accuracy, the best footwork, you can throw the ball 90 yards down the field, but if you don't believe in yourself, you're done. And that applies to a whole number of assets of life, as we well know. No spin the wheel, spin the bottle, maybe break out the Ouija board is another option. I could always do a bonus trivia question. I could definitely do that. But yeah, the wheel tonight the wheel tonight is a no-go. It's something I'm going to have to figure out. Yeah, we'll just have to do that because right now at home, I'm using a friend's laptop right now, but I'm at my mother's place right now, just doing some stuff using that computer because it's just a lot easier to work with and it's a bigger screen, and the chair is a heck of a lot more comfortable too. So I just did some work here. Yeah, because that laptop. Here's the thing: that laptop that was lent to me, it doesn't have Microsoft Office on it. So I can view a page, but I cannot edit or create a page. So all the work that I do, because I do all my work on Microsoft Word, I can't get around that on that computer. That's the frustrating thing. So it's good for little things here and there, but as far as everything that I need it to do, it just doesn't work. So that's why I went over to the other place, and I'm doing my work over here tonight. All right. Another positive, special teams. Oh, my God. How everybody, as of late, seems to be jumping on the special teams bandwagon. Guys, we've known it for weeks how good it is. Oh, I see we got a nice influx of people coming into the chat. Hello, new folks. Yep, feel free to say hello. Oh, we got the great Nick Shine, the OG, the cowboy boot wearing gigolo Nick Shine himself. No, you are not too late for trivia, my friend. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Hope you're having a great week. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Thanks. No, you are definitely not too late for trivia. And yeah, like I said, tonight we get 15 likes. I'm going to give you a bonus trivia question. That's the least that I could do for you after last week did not quite work out. So the Jets are number 3 in special teams, expected points added, which is a whole crazy formula that I won't get into. I swear there should be a T-shirt. There are all these guys that do these T-shirts right now. We need a Kenny, Isaiah, Austin, and Nick T-shirt. You know, it's like, you know, you have like 4 different guys represented, 4 different things represented on the T-shirt. Kenny, Isaiah, Austin, and Nick. I think we need to do this. All right, for Nwangwu, Williams, McNamara, and Folk. The Jets lead the NFL with 55 returns of 20 yards or more. 55 returns of 20 yards or more. They are third with 5 returns of 40 yards or more. But it's not just the 4 of them, guys. Don't forget guys like Andrew Beck, Quantez Stiggers, Stone Smart. The Jets are third in the NFL, having allowed just 89 yards of total punt return yardage all season. That is an average of 5.6 yards per return. That's not the kicker. That's not the punter. That's not the return guys. That's those grinded out guys who are working there in the trenches. Special teams have been more than just kicking and returning. It's been stopping the other team also. That should make you feel even better. And they're top 5 with 22 punts down inside the 20-yard line. I love watching Quantez Stiggers run down the field. Quantez Stiggers, our guy, the guy we talked about before the Jets drafted him. We broke him down. We scouted him. We knew Quantez Stiggers before he put the green and white on for the first time. He downs punts inside the 20 like a wizard. It is a beautiful thing to watch. Another negative has been the pass rush. Yes, Will McDonald has 7 sacks, but you know what? They come in spurts. 4 of his 7 sacks were in Week 10 against the Browns. His pressure percentage is 11.7%. Last year, it was 16.3%. And I still wonder if this defense is the fit for him. I wonder if Aaron Glenn wants to go forward with him. To me, he's a tricky player to evaluate and to commit to because we know he's a great pure pass rusher. when he's right. But you know he's a liability against the run. And the Jets this offseason, they got to make a decision on Will McDonald's fifth-year option, and they have to do it by the month of May. Right now, that fifth-year option is projected at $14.9 million for 2027. Well, to me, you pick that option up. I think he's productive enough where it works, but I think you need another edge to work in there along with him and along with JJ. Michael Clemens, if you still keep him around, and I can't imagine he's still going to stay around, but if he does, he's got to be playing inside. He's more productive there. Like I said, you put him outside, you put him in space, and it's like a tooth extraction without the Novocaine. You don't need to see that. But JJ has 3 sacks. Briggs has 3 sacks. Even Quinnen Williams, even the great Quinnen Williams had only 1 sack this year before he got traded. You know, Indy, we could say what we want about Michael Clemens. He does get a few sacks every now and then. There we go. Clemens is going to get resigned. Watch and see. We could get a new Michael Clemens. There will be plenty of Michael Clemenses in the draft. Okay. I think it'll be time to move on. The only way he gets resigned is if he's got like naked pictures of Woody Johnson and Christopher Johnson somewhere. That's the only way I can imagine that he still has a job. But yet he does. Yet he does. Another positive, the consistency and growth of the offensive line. The Jets are the only team in the NFL that has started the same 5 in every game. Of course, it's a little bit weird because Elijah Vera Tucker was lost before the start of the season. But Olu has grown as a pass blocker, and I think he's even improved in his run blocking. Armand Membu, top 5 rookie according to ESPN. He's up there with guys like Egbuka, Tyler Warren, guys like that. That's how good of a season he's having. And that's even having a disappointing season, a disappointing last game against Atlanta. You know, he still has his penalties, but you know what? As a rookie, he's learning his way. Joe Timbin gets better and better, I think. He is a force in the run game. He rarely gives up pressures. Josh Myers, I don't know. You know, he's been fine for 1 year, $3.5 million. But his snaps have been a little bit low at times, but his blocking has been fine. And John Simpson, you know what? A little bit frustrating at times with had a streak of taking penalties there. But he does bring some attitude. He brings some nasty. I think every offensive line needs to have a nasty, I don't give a F type blocker there. And he's that guy. He mauls people. He's brought some of that Baltimore Ravens mojo into Florham Park, and I do like it. I really, really do. So I'm feeling incredibly encouraged about this offensive line going forward. Man, really encouraged. Yeah, they give Justin Fields time to throw, and we know Justin Fields. Yeah, watching Justin Fields throw a football, you may as well set the crock pot. Oh my gosh, Nick. So you're saying Jets Chaos has a chance to get signed? Maybe to the practice squad. I think that's about it. Oh my old buddy Johnny Boy. I'm sorry I didn't see you when I was there when I was in town for the which game was it? The Cleveland game? Yeah, I was in town for that game for the Ring of Honor thing. I'm sorry I didn't get to see you, but yeah, a lot of us were there and we had a heck of a time. Jets Chaos just needs to find another team. Well, hey, maybe if there's a team that moves to Sacramento, maybe he could jump on the bandwagon. Who knows? Negative that we got to point out, one defensive takeaway. And I got to tell you, I thought this was going to end when Saleh and Ulbrich left. I thought this was a mentality. I thought with new coaches, you would have a lot more takeaways than they have. Obviously, no interceptions on defense, but maybe it's the players. The fact that this is still a problem. Maybe it's the players. And it doesn't make sense because you've changed about half the secondary. You do have the same linebackers. You've changed the defensive tackles. Defensive ends are pretty similar. So I don't know. I thought bringing in like an Andre Sisco, who is a bit of a ball hawk, would help. Obviously, that didn't work out very well. Malachi Moore, I think, could do the same thing. But again, it just hasn't quite worked out yet. So you have to figure by default that's going to get better next season. But whatever players the Jets do choose to bring in, I hope that they are looking at defensive players who have a nose for the football, who are playmakers. Defensive playmakers. Whether that's getting set, I'm not saying necessarily the flashiest players. Like Sauce Gardner as good a cornerback as he is and was, is not a playmaker. That's what I think the Jets are looking for. Aaron Glenn's looking for tacklers, especially at the cornerback position. And I think that's why he brought somebody like a Jarvis Brownlee in, why he and Muji brought that kind of player in. And I think we're seeing more and more. Aaron Glenn is looking like a smarter coach as he's getting more of the players into the building that he has in mind for his football team. Hey, Jake, how you doing, brother? Hope you're having a great week. 2 shows a day, drops the $2. I appreciate the super chat for sure. Thank you very much. That ESPN salary is clearly paying off. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I will try to watch live since I have a little bit more free time. I will definitely make an effort to do that. Indy Jets bringing out Denzel Mims. Okay, Indy, are you really green bean? You're bringing up Denzel Mims now? Denzel Mims can catch any better than anyone on our D. I can't even completely deny that. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, maybe Pittsburgh would give us back Brandon Eccles if we're really hoping for it. But, wow, Denzel Mims. How about it? Man. Another positive I'm going to give you, the rookies are really developing. On Sunday, and I got this stat from Samini, 7 rookies and second-year players played at least 45 snaps. And that includes 4 draft picks from 2025. Membu, as I mentioned, is the number 5 rated rookie in the class by ESPN. Malachi Moore has what's called a lockdown percentage of 47.83. That's a PFF stat. That is 5th highest rate among safeties this season. Not just rookies, all safeties. Malachi Moore can cover. On the offensive side, Mason Taylor, he gets open 59% of the time. That is the 2nd best mark for tight ends in the NFL. 2nd best among all tight ends in the NFL. Imagine when we have a quarterback who's capable of getting the damn ball on time. Man, I know he and I would get in arguments about the penalties, the drops, but I give Green Bean credit. When he has his guys, he defends them fiercely. But he defended Denzel Mims more than any other tight end outside of tight ends. Yeah, I was convinced Denzel Mims had to be a tight end. That's how fiercely Green Bean defended him. And I admired it, was bewildered by it at times. But hey, I've had my takes that are rather bewildering too. Some people call me a Joe Douglas truther, and I'm okay with it. But I can criticize him for mistakes. The only Jet coach who knew how to use Denzel Mims was Adam Gase. Well, I guess we found one positive about him. Hey, Grandizer, is culture change that AJ installing a positive surprise? What's the negative of that? Loss of talent, players being traded. I think this is something that we expected to have happen. I think this was the most important thing that could have happened all year. Because I don't think many Jet fans expected a winning season. I don't think that was realistic. We knew there were a lot of players in this locker room that were accustomed to losing, and that had to get out. And if they weren't willing to change their mindsets, if they still seem stuck in that, then I think at that point, Muji and Glenn have a little conversation. This guy's got to go. I can't win with this guy. And I think slowly we're seeing that happen. And it's not that they're necessarily bad people. They just may not be the right fit. Michael Carter II is a perfect example of that. Got hurt last year, was on the absolute outs this season. He was not going to come back. And the fact that the Jets made that trade and got John Mechie for him, steal of a trade from the Jets' perspective. No question about it. Can't remember who the tight end was I love. Kenny Yeboah. Green Bean loved Kenny Yeboah. And I, in turn, became a Kenny Yeboah defender. I was basically teaching the Virginia Jet fans about Kenny Yeboah. And they'd be like, hey, Adam, you're the Kenny Yeboah guy, right? Yeah, Kenny Yeboah. Yeah, I was defending him too. But we knew who he was before the draft. And he was a good player, good special teams player. No doubt about it. Nick, what's a bad take? I've never had one. I can't think of one either. Yeah, I really can't. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yep. All right. Yep, AG had to get the players that didn't mind losing out of here. Yeah, this thing takes time. It takes a year, maybe even 2 years. And then just think about it. The Jets have a lot of cap space coming up this season. Imagine when they lose the $57 million from Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields. Because let's say Fields isn't here and the Jets want to just eat that whole cap up. It's either $22 million next season in a dead hit or $13 million and then $9 million. But we know Aaron Rodgers has $35 million in a dead cap hit. So imagine you free up another $57 million and you can use that in free agency again. It's guys, year by year, but you can see the positive direction. It's coming together. But the biggest question mark is going to be the quarterback, because you could do all of this right. This is not that much different than what we were doing a couple of years ago with Douglas and Saleh. But if you don't get the quarterback right, or if the quarterback is not, I believe they got it right with Aaron Rodgers, but we know what happened. We were basically snake bit. If you don't have that, what do you really have? A mediocre at best team. That's basically it. And when I talk, and one more thing about where I say rookies are developing, I'm also talking about Aaron Glenn. When you talk about rookies developing, the first one that you got to talk about in my mind, or the main one you got to talk about, is Aaron Glenn. I think his game management is getting more refined. I think he's learning a little bit more about how to really interact with the media, what to say, what not to say. There have been some awkward moments where it's just like, oh my God, AG, did you really have to say that? Did you really have to go there? Why are you being such a wise ass to, to Costello, Samini, Hughes, Vasquez, Staley, whoever it might be? Why? What do you get out of it? I appreciate you trying to protect your players, but not at the risk of you looking like you're being a jerk. No need to do that. But I like things that I see on the field, knowing when to use timeouts, knowing when to challenge plays. Aaron Glenn has been very good at throwing that challenge flag. That's been encouraging to me as well. So I'm feeling a little bit better week by week about Aaron Glenn. Not that I ever called for him to get fired, because the idea of firing him after one season was ridiculous. You gave him 5 years from what we know, $60 million. Woody Johnson was not firing him after 1 year, but you had to see steady, notable progress. And we're seeing certain players play better. And this team, which is all but eliminated from the playoffs, not officially, but all but eliminated, continues to play their asses off for him. That's got to mean something. And one other negative I'm going to give, they're still a little bit too prone to dumb mistakes. You still see some pre-snap penalties that drive you nuts. We saw it this week against Atlanta. You still see some drop passes. This is actually a little bit of a positive in a way. The Jets are right now 15th in the most penalties taken. So they've taken the 15th most penalties in the NFL. But if you look at 2023 and 2024, they had the second most penalties in both those seasons. So you are seeing improvement there as well. You are seeing more discipline there too. So that is giving me more optimism as well. That's a negative that is actually becoming a positive. Harlan, you can, if I'm understanding what you're saying, you can without a really good quarterback. I would say you cannot win without a really good without a franchise quarterback. Yeah, when I hear the Arizona, Brandeis is right. When I hear the Arizona Cardinals game, they mentioned Carter and Bam Knight. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like the Bermuda Triangle of the AFC and the NFC, isn't it? But yeah, I see Carter. Yeah, well, that's Michael Carter the first. MC2 is in Philly. And of course, Bam Knight. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think we were always like Bam Knight. Yeah. But every team's got a Bam Knight somewhere, Grandizer, the Jets trying to solve the quarterback spot that was not tried in the past with Rodgers. Yeah. It gave the fans hope. Nobody predicted it would not end well. At least the Jets turned the page. It turned out to be the right decision, because Rodgers is at the end of the road. There's no doubt about it. Pittsburgh's offense has been bad, really bad, like 25-30 in pretty much every ranking. You don't need a franchise quarterback to win. You do need an upper echelon quarterback, like a top 10 quarterback, I would say, in the league. I think you do need that. So, and put it this way, let's look at Sam Darnold. Regular season right now, he's definitely a top 10 quarterback. But when he gets to the playoffs, what's he going to do? Because right now his bugaboo is the LA Rams. The Rams beat him every single time. They are the kryptonite to his Superman. And it may not have to be, you can have Nick Foles. You can have Nick Foles and win. But you better have some elite units. You better have an elite pass rush, running game, and you better have a damn good coach. So you're going to need, like a LaShawn McCoy, you're going to need some elite pass rushing. So, and then the quarterback is just smart enough to work around it. But you do need an upper echelon quarterback, in my mind. And if you don't have everything else around that him be really, really up there, in my mind, you're not going to get to the promised land. You can get to the playoffs. You can win a game or two. But I don't know if you're going to be playing football in February. Indy's ready for trivia? Okay, we're going to get to trivia in just a minute, brother. Just a minute. Oh, we got one more thing that we got to do. And we got to do our Week 14 preview, Jets versus Dolphins. Of course, this week I will be doing the Jets-Dolphins preview video. I will be doing the 5 bowl predictions. Tomorrow, I will be posting my confidence picks as well. I'm up into the 90% percentile among all players on ESPN. So I finally crossed that 90% threshold. Went 12-4 last week, even though I lost the last 2 Thanksgiving games and the Friday game. So I did very well the rest of the way. Okay, well, I'll just give you 5 things to know about Miami. Here we go. Dolphins have won 3 straight games after starting 1-5. They're definitely on a hot streak, which is a little surprising, I think, to most people. People were waiting for Mike McDaniel to get fired, and it is not appearing that is going to be the case. Devon Achane has absolutely emerged as a top running back in the league. 186 rushes. He's already got 1,034 yards. That's 3rd most in the NFL. 6 touchdowns. 10 runs of at least 20 yards. Also as a receiver, you got to watch out for him. With the loss of Tyreek Hill, he is that second target in the passing game alongside Jalen Waddle. 54 catches, 370 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's 10 touchdowns total. Number 3, Tua. He can't stop throwing interceptions. He has 14. That's the most in the NFL, and I know it pisses Grandizer off to no end. That is crazy for a quarterback who not long ago led the league in passing yards and completion percentage. Number 4, Miami allows 4.8 rushing yards per attempt. That's 28. You can run on this team. Breece Hall, Isaiah Davis, go off. Number 5, Miami ranks 28 in time of possession. They hold the ball for an average of 28 minutes and 28 seconds. That's it. All right, so that defense tends to be on the field quite a lot. I'll give you a number 6 bonus. Jordan Brooks, their linebacker, 137 total tackles. Number 1 in the NFL by about 20 tackles. Brooks makes tackles for that team. All right, so there you go. That is your – I gave you 6 things to know. Why not? Why not? No Tyreek Hill, no problem. They're still trying to make a miracle comeback to get into the playoff mix, and they still have a ways to go. But HN is a better weapon at this point than Hill is at this point in his career. Yeah, Grandizer points out Dolphins lead the series 62-57-1. Yeah, there was a stretch there for until not that long ago where the Jets just could not win against Miami. The Jets recently broke it, but yeah, let's see, Miami had won. Let's see. So going back to 2016, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The Dolphins had gone 15-3 against the Jets since the calendar year turned to 2016 over the last 10 years. So the Dolphins have really taken it over over the last 10 years. Billy, example, the Ravens. If Lamar goes down, the whole team goes down. We don't want that. Fair point. I do have to agree. Yeah, Tua has been a major disappointment, even though he's been healthy this year. And hey, you all know who the backup is. Zach Wilson. We all know what's up. Could happen. It would be pretty hysterical if Wilson came into the game at some point, wouldn't it? It would be pretty crazy. All right, guys, I'll tell you what. It is that time, so it is time to do what we do every week. Every week, you know what happens. I head down into the labyrinth of Jets knowledge, which is still open for business, by the way. I dust off the Encyclopedia Britannica. I pull up the websites on the Jets dark web. And I, Watch2K99, challenge you, the most loyal fans of the most loyal fan base in the NFL. How much do you know about your New York Jets? So if you are ready, I know you're ready. Let's play Jets trivia. Oh, that's why the sound. I'm going to do this one more time. That's better. The bass was awful. All right, time for Jets trivia, and we're going to do some Jets Dolphins trivia. So I will put 5 minutes on the clock on my phone. I'll be watching that. The answer will go on the screen. Type your answers down there in the chat. All right, and let's see if we can get the question right tonight. Your question: last year, the Jets finally beat Miami, beat them 32-20. Name the 2 Jets who are credited with a solo sack. And Nick is here. Nick is one of the best trivia players that we have. So, guys, you got a big help with Nick Shine in the chat. Let's see what we can do tonight. 2 Jets credited with a solo sack. Who were they? Billy, one must be Will McDonald. Is it Will McDonald? It is not. Will did not have a solo sack in that game last year. Nope. In fact, I'm going to pull the box score up. Of course, no cheating, no Googling. That kind of takes the fun away of it. So yeah, please don't do that. Will did have half a sack, but he did not have a full sack. That's why I said half. That's why I said sack. Michael Clemens, is it our old buddy, everybody's favorite, soon to earn a contract extension, Michael Clemens? No, it is not Michael Clemens. In that game, he had 2 solo tackles, but no sacks. Nikki picked a horrible time to call. Junior's on the phone with Papa Shine. All right. I don't think Potts, speaking of fathers, I don't think Potts UK99 is going to have an answer, being that he is a Cowboy fan. But what are you going to do? All right. Grandizer is going to go with Hassan Reddick, a player that we pretty much all want to forget about. Is it Hassan Reddick? No, like Will McDonald, he had half a sack in that game. Yep, he was. Those were the 2 players with half a sack, by the way. So, yeah, Will and Hassan each had half a sack, and there were 2 Jets with 1 full sack each. Harlan is going with McDermott. I'm not even sure who he meant. I'm not even sure who you're referring to with McDermott, so you might have to help me with that. Nick is going to go with Javon Kinlaw. How about Javon Kinlaw? You got it. Javon Kinlaw is correct. He had a full sack in that game. Biggest surprise. Hey, Bebo 1121. Bebo, remind me. Okay, yeah, that's Bebo. Okay. Biggest surprise, Glenn Show credits up. It is very nice when I go into the comments of whether it's my show or whether it's Nick's show, Jake's show, Jet Central, Matt O'Leary, 24/7, Green Bean, whoever it might be, and half the comments aren't Fire Glenn. It is actually very nice. Half a sack, king of the almost sack. It was close to a sack, but not a full sack. And so he had to get back in the sack to get ready for next week when he tries to get a full sack again. Because any great player knows how to get the full sack. Solo Sakoa. On behalf of the entire chat, all right, there we go. That's very nice. Sacramento A's. All right. So we got let's see, we got 1:20 to go. Javon Kinlaw is correct. There's one other player. I'll give you this. He is a defensive lineman, not on the roster this season. How about that for a clue? So not on the team this year. You said Reddick. You said Kinlaw. Who else could it be? We said Reddick. What do we think? This guy was with the Jets for a couple of years. Nick goes, no, it's amazing nobody said Quentin Williams yet. No one said Quentin Williams, but had you said him, and then he goes with the only 2 not was one other name. There is one other name you didn't mention. However, Nick Shine has come through. The correct answer indeed is Bruce Hector. That's right. The other name that nobody mentioned was Solomon Thomas. And I was expecting Solomon Thomas to get named, but he wasn't. But, yep, Nick comes through. Javon Kinlaw and future Ring of Honor member Bruce Hector both had full sacks in that game against Miami. So there we go. Got it correct. So fantastic job, everybody. All right, I'm going to double check real quick. And we're a little bit short on likes right now. All right. But I will try to get the wheel back up and running. Hopefully Google will be able to help me. If not, I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and just basically recreate most of it from scratch. I got a couple of wheels saved, but I would have to recreate some of them. I think I got the 100 Jets wheel saved to my email, but I hope I don't have to recreate it. I really hope I can get it back, but I'll have some time to do that. All right, everybody. We're going to call it a night. I want to thank everybody for joining me. It was good to be back. Good to be back on the air. And I'm going to try to get back into the regular schedule in addition to doing some other things that have to be done as we try to get life back in order. John Hall. John Hall is always a correct answer when in doubt. Always go John Hall. That's right. But everybody, I appreciate it. Dimitri Patterson, of course, the player that most people had forgotten existed until I put him on the wheel. That was rather remarkable when that happened. So everybody, again, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your week. Don't let the Jets ruin your life as always. And, of course, I will be with you right back here next Wednesday with more content from you know where. This is the original spot, ladies and gentlemen. Pierre Desir, he knows where it's at. The Wicker Chair. Have a good night, everybody.